decide to go on strike. My point with this labor strike, NLC, is that even the ILO acknowledge that you don't go on strike in the middle of a negotiation. What are you going on strike for? The federal government said, I am going to pay 30,000. The federal government cannot force the hands of the states. We are operating the federation. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
You cannot force, you can only talk to them, you can only appeal to them that, gentlemen, actually, this is an election year. That's for you to take it, especially when when Labour started saying any government that is not willing to pay 30,000 must forget about their vote.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Daily Report. Your name and where you calling from?
You're speaking to Emmanuel Lingen from Ikorodu in Lagos. Good evening.
Emma, how are you doing?
This how you allow to wait here for.
How are you doing now?
How you doing, Jerry? How are you?
We thank God.
Please talk about us. We'll be talking about us.
The way people is speaking this evening, now, example like saying the defend government against the people.
Like how?
Is that?
How?
How the way you are speaking like you are defending government now?
That you cannot go on strike in the middle of discussion.
Government should not be owing Nigerian people. Especially these workers where you know the way we give birth in Nigeria now, you know? Some are having 5 children, some have 4, and this 30,000, quite frankly, I consider it as still too small. Labour had stayed on the 60,000. I would have appreciated Labour more than I'm appreciating them now. You understand? If there is no justification for paying them that kind of little money, just too little. Because what could have been, what Labour should also fight for is to come now and join the Nigerian people. Let's fight and see how politics will be reduced and made to look like a teacher's job. A situation where a senator will earn 100,000 in a month. I see how we can do all that. So don't say they can't justify the fact that they earn 15 million a month. They can't. You see a senator, he doesn't know the difference between a paragraph and due respect to them. But you see some senators, they can't tell you the difference between subsection 1 and paragraph 2, and they can't even push any law, any bill, you understand, that will better the life of the people. We need to fight these things and see a way where we can reduce it. And when you want to be a councillor, it will be a voluntary job, understand, that you are voluntarily to help the people. Good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening. We're going to take 2 more calls on the topic tonight. We're talking about NLC. We're talking about ASU. ASU is still on strike.
Yes,
that's the truth.
Yes.
And do we see anything happening?
No, that's what's the typical of at a stage. ASU will become the whipping boy.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Where are you calling from and your name, please?
My name is Akin, calling from Akron of Calgary State.
All right, sir. Please, your comment.
Thank you. I think we have fun in this project.
You said what's up?
We are coming.
Okay.
If the government has done something that we should appreciate and approve, we should try and do this.
Okay. Okay, we're with you. Okay, we lost our call. If you want to contribute on the show, the number to call is right there, 070-6250-0247. That's the number to call. Let's talk.
Yeah, because we are looking at, when you're talking about negotiation, that's why they call it tripartite negotiation, involving the labor leaders, the employers of labor, and government.
So do we expect that the government is going to set up such a committee again?
No, they have done that. They are the one that the issue of ASU is there was an agreement in 2009 that was reached.
Yes.
And this agreement has been consistently breached. That's why ASU has been going on strike from one government to the other. And this time ASU goes on strike, the government will invite it to the negotiation table, as they always call it, and then they will negotiate that agreement. That is what has been happening. But my point is, if ASU has been going on strike since 2009 over an issue, and ASU still believe that strike is the only thing that can solve the problem, then something is wrong with us as a nation. On the issue of workers, the reason why I said there was no need for this strike is labor leaders and the other employers of labor, government, and organized private sector sat and said, okay, government said, okay, ASU, sorry, NLC, you said 30,000. Okay, 30,000 is okay. But there are other people that are involved in this discussion. The state governments are there. The organized private sector, they are there. So we need to convince them to agree with this 30,000. So that's the reason why I'm saying that there was no need for us to have gone on strike. Labor leaders to have gone on strike, because negotiation was still ongoing. Talks were still ongoing. What was needed for government to use its overall power, that is federal government, to appeal to state governments to pay this money. But there's a need for us to understand one thing. There's another leg to this issue. Guys that are still struggling to pay 18,000, with 18,000 naira minimum wage, 20 of them are owing. Now, if we just rush that 30,000 naira on them, what is going to happen? Many of them will be made, unfortunately, to lay off staff. That is another leg to this argument, which some economists are talking about. If you are going to go into it, there's a need for them to look at the economic implication. Like Emma said, which some of us have been agitating, there's a need for us to cut the salary of these our political leaders. That is just the best way to go about it.
Maybe they should be on the same scale as...
A lot of people have even recognized that even those people in National Assembly, people in government, should also enjoy what they call minimum wage. Maybe there is this mad rush for government, for the political offices will be reduced. Because when you place a senator on a 100,000 naira minimum wage or salary, do you think many of them want to go? Or you place a minister on 200,000 naira as a salary, many of them will not, there won't be this rush. But until we do that, because these are constitutional matters, salaries of political office holders are stated in the constitution, and there's a body that has been given that power to fix it. We cannot on our own, because we are on radio or television, begin to fix salaries for these political office holders. Until we do that, there's need for us to be the next level for labor. That's what you're saying. Perhaps that should be the next level. They should be agitating for constitutional amendments that will take into consideration all these things we are talking about. You are talking about the constitutional amendments to make it possible that whoever is in government must not send his children or ward into universities outside the country. Whoever is in government must not go abroad for medical treatment. So those are the things that are constitutional matters that we should be applying, the neighbors should be doing now, instead of all this strike that is not yielding anything. Let them go on constitutional amendments. Advocates for constitutional amendments that will take into consideration, because there is a need for us to save money from some areas to take care of areas that are deficient now. If we are able to reduce some of this money we are spending on our political office holders, there will be enough money to pay our civil servants that are really doing the job. But if we still continue with this term, and we think a governor that is not able to pay 18,000, you will now force him to pay 30,000 naira. At the end of the election, let me tell you, many workers will be laid off.
Okay, we're going to take these messages from Twitter. Joe Warilayefa Moro says, governments in Nigeria only act or react to strikes or threats to strike. After agreeing to a figure of 30,000 naira, the governments were saying they were trying to change the figure to 22,500 and 24,000. Only strikes make Nigerian governments to be awake. Blame them, not labor. That's from Joe Warilayefa Moro. Okay, we have another message from Adekombi Charles. It says, it will continue to be this way, and the government won't care because their words are never in the schools, which he also pointed out. He also said it's a better ploy to ruin the schools, thereby marketing the private institutions owned by them. God help Nigeria. That's from Adekambi Charles. We also have another one coming from Canis Xavier. Okay, Canis, yeah, Xavier Ifeanyi. Good evening, crew. Just at the announcement of 30,000 naira this morning, transport fare from Jakonde Gate to Keafa to Oshodi has increased from 150 naira to 200 naira, which means nothing has changed in relationship to cost of living. He also, I think we have another one from T-Money. I don't know when this government will do anything that will be of good benefit to ordinary Nigerians. How much is 30,000 naira? Is it up to what they used to take suya at suya joints? I really can't figure out why this government is so wicked. That's coming from TG Money. He said, as a strike is a strategy to keep the future of common Nigerians forever poor. The government is purposely damaging our educational system. They are sending their own children abroad to school while Nigerian students are sitting at home. It's unfortunate. Okay, that's the much we're going to take from Twitter. We'll take closing statements from our guests regarding the ASU strike, what we should see. Now, regarding the ASU strike and the NLC, the new minimum wage as well, and what's going to happen.
The new minimum wage will come into being because Nigerian people, the senators or National Assembly people, also wants to capitalize on this thing to win votes. This is an election year. You will see the
and
quick
you think
passage.
the governors will also pay?
No, the government will. The government. That's exactly what I just said. They will promise that we are going to pay. And after the elections, either he continues to owe salaries or he lays off salary workers. That one is basic because politics are everywhere. As to ASU, I will still want to talk to ASU. There's a need for them to change strategy. It's a very common language when you say you continue to do the same thing over and over again and you expect to get a different report. It is not possible. With governments in Nigeria, they don't bloody care. They can invite to the negotiating table. They will say, okay, let us modify. They will sign agreement again. After 2 years, ASU will go on strike again. ASU should stay strategy. This one is not working.
Okay, that's what we're taking on our show. And my closing statement tonight will be, as an organization, as institutions, NLC, ASU, whatever the name of the institution is, we need to look into new strategy of getting the government's attention. We need to look into, how to get effective, in our demands from government. Are the demands too many, or are the demands coming at a wrong time? Or maybe we should just tackle the issues one after the other. That way we ensure that everybody, we get the desired change that we all want. It's important. And I want to appeal. The Nigerian universities are going to close down, and that is bad for our educational system. We're struggling with the educational system already. It wouldn't be so nice if it goes, on and on and on and on and on. While I was in school, I was on strike for 9 months. I did a 1 year. I did a 7 months. I did a 5 months. And I know people did 2 years as a strike on one issue or the other. It's time we look into, other strategies of getting the government's attention. It can't all be about the strike. Let's look into this issue. Okay, that's our show tonight. Do follow us on Twitter at The Daily Report and like us on Facebook, The Daily Report. Also drop your comments on our page and tweet at us. Thank you so much to the DJ in the studio. I've told him to give me a shoe. He doesn't want to give me a shoe. I don't know. Maybe one day I'm just going to collect it and he will walk home barefooted. And to Kazmi, who has been wonderful, he's been on the cameras tonight. To Ifeonye for the wonderful opportunity to stand in for her. And to Uncle Bello for being here. Executive producer has been Charles Kalu. I am Tomisin Ojo. Thank you for listening and have a good evening.